Time for some Touring Car Masters. It's race 3, their final of the weekend. Combined points bring the grid together for this one, and it's John Bowe who's on pole alongside Jim Richards, the two superstars of Aussie motor racing, to go from the front row. Mark King had a win earlier today. He starts from row 2 in the Camaro. Adam Bressington back in the category this weekend. Bit of drama though in the race earlier today. There are a couple of cars that did not finish, a couple that speared off the road when they hit some oil. So Greg King's Porsche, Amanda Sparks' Porsche, they were involved as well. Range of those cars and names down the bottom there are not here this weekend. Bruce McLeod is the local. He's in the Ford XA Superbird. This morning, this is what I was talking about. Leo Tobin's Monaro goes bang. It leaves piles of oil. Watch what happened next. Mark King makes it through. John Bowe sideways. Adam Bressington more sideways. Andrew Menicki off the road. The rest of them all fire off. Have a look at this head-on angle. Have a look at JB. Oh, 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 oh. Bressington's worse. Andrew Menicki's worse. Greg King in the Porsche's in the fence. He's not the only one. Chris Stillwell's Mustang in the fence. How about this? Greg King's wife, there she is, Amanda Sparks, in the silver Porsche. She hits the wall as well, and then just to rub it in, insult to injury, bang, into the Mustang, just to finish it off. So it was a wild race 2. The track's cleaned up. Race 3, rolling start for TCM. So it's Bowe on pole, the man who's dominated this track for the last few years. Jimmy Richards, that Falcon Sprint, the 289 cubic inch. It hasn't got as much grunts, hasn't got as big an engine, but it's lighter. So over the course of the race, he could come into it. Watch for that blue and silver Falcon on the second row. Keith Kasuki, massive power.
It is extremely fast down the straight. You can just see it in the top right-hand corner there. The starter with the green flag. They cannot go until that flag is waved.
There it is. Away we go. What a great sound. A mix of everything. Chargers, Porsches, Falcons, Monaros. But it's the Mustang that leads the way. Look at Keith Kasuki trying to sneak down the inside on Jimmy Richards. He won't get it done. Mark King hangs on round the outside in the red Camaro. We jump on board the big XB Falcon Coupe 2-door hardtop with the Papua New Guinea-based driver. On around Jason Gomersall, the new Tirana. Stranded at turn 1. But they've all managed to get through okay, and no surprises. John Bowe out in front, the man who won the round here last year.
He's very fast up here. He's got the car dialed in nicely.
It's just back in the pack a little. Ooh, 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 ooh. Brett Yulden in the lurid green HQ Monaro. Just saw him just before this race. So we need a bit more of everything. Bit more power, bit more handling, bit more money. But he's always a front runner. Look at Andrew Menicki there, the black Lubrimax Falcon. Camaro. Falcon's a long time ago.
Very stealth, isn't it? Very stealth. And he's very aggressive behind the wheel. Here's pumped. He didn't have a great race, obviously, in race 2. Was caught out on that oil going up into turn 5.
But he did finish second to Bowe yesterday in race 1, so he's got a bit of a chance to bring it on home. Bit of Bowe and Richards clearing away, and this is where the big V8 cars, the Porsches, just can't keep up. This big, long straight. Listen to this. Yeah, they were all V8s. There wasn't a 6 in among them.
Such a good sound. You can see Menicki, he is coming through. He didn't finish race 2, which is a reason he actually started quite a way back from John Bowe in this race.
On board with Brett Yulden. This is back to the front. Bowe and Richards, the guys that have dominated TCM. Keith Kasuki staying in touch with them. That's Adam Bressington in that number 11 Falcon. Pretty unique looking XAGT, the violet car that we've seen. You might remember Leanne Tander drove that car a couple of years ago and had a win up at Bathurst in it. It's a very pacey car, but just locked it up heading into the hairpin. That gives Mark King a bit of a chance to sneak up and through. And get around. Nice job.
Oh, he's not round yet.
He's now.
He did a great job too in the reverse grid race, taking out that win there. Obviously, being up the front there and not having anybody in front of him, was able to spot that oil. John Bowe right behind him and everyone right behind John. Basically blindsided, couldn't see the oil, and they all got caught out on it. You watch the horsepower of this car, this XB down the straight, this lap, it is a monster.
End of lap 2. Richards is nibbling away at JB's margin at 6/10 of the line. 10-lap race. There they are. Mustang, Falcon Sprint. Another Ford in third. Camaro next. Falcon, Camaro, Monaro, Mustang, Tirana. And there's that white Chevy Monza just in the background, the Tony Hunter car that he debuted in the last round at Winton a couple of months ago. And we might see a bit of a car shuffle coming up. There's some stories bounding around that John Bowe might step out of his Mustang and put some bloke called Johnson in it.
Some grey-headed old fella.
Dick's driving?
Yeah.
Oh, no, you. Oh, you. Right.
No, it's been something that we've talked about, and in conjunction with Wilson Security, obviously, and John being part of our team and a bit of a mentor for our guys as well. We just think it'd be a really good fit, and John obviously is doing extremely well in this category in this car, and he wants to maybe step aside and drive somebody else's car and see if he can't help progress some of the other guys with their cars throughout the series.
Is he going to charge you a hiring fee for the car?
It'll be interesting if we're running one too. What's going to happen?
You'll have to know where your bread's buttered there and who your car owner is. This is a great shot from on board with Brett Youlden in the HQ Monaro. Brett's got a long career going in production car racing and touring car racing. Of course, his brother Kent was a star in production cars. Look at Manecki. Left? No. Right? Maybe. How's the brakes?
It's good under
the brakes. Are good on this Camaro. They've proven this in the last year or two, and that really shows it round the outside.
You can just see it's just a slightly smaller car, a lot easier on its tyres, although Andrew does drive it sideways quite a bit. But, it's great to see, and a lot of these guys are the same. Tony Karanfilowski there in the Mustang at the back of this, that orangey-yellow Mustang at the back, having a go up the inside. That is a beautiful car, $400,000 to build that car, and it is like a V8 supercar. It is a work of art.
And he's had some wins with it. He won the first race of the season at Clipsal in Adelaide. He had a win at Winton as well. This is really good stuff in the middle of the pack. The white Tirana there in the background is Kerry McMahon since 9th. Remember, he was in that big accident at the start of one of the races at the Adelaide round. But he also races one of Scafie's old Nissan Skyline GTSRs in Heritage Touring Cars, Group C and A Racing, and he's just purchased and is finishing the restoration of Scafie and Jim Richards' 1991 Bathurst-winning Nissan GTR. Can't wait to see that back on the track.
That's going to look fantastic, isn't it? It's really good to see some of these guys and how passionate they are about their, the history in the motorsport and wanting to actually, restore these cars for the future.
Not sure we can slip a Nissan GTR into Touring Car Masters, though. Maneki's following the white lines and yellow lines everywhere. Youlden down the inside, trying to get a move on Adam Breshington. Love turning back the clock. Touring Car Masters, racing hard in the top end, and it's John Bowe. He leads. Don't deceive you. It is not 1970, but that is a 1970 Chevy Camaro. Mark King at the helm there, that red car. He sits 4th. It's Touring Car Masters. Race 3 at Hidden Valley. Stephen Johnson's alongside me for this one. And I reckon from here on in, Stephen Jade, they are running a little short on the rubber. It is pretty warm out there at the moment.
They are. I can just see Jimmy's just starting to nip at the heels again of JB. Just, half a tenth here and there. With a little bit better tyre wear, a little bit lighter car, and it is the 3rd race that they do on these tyres. So it is a long way, extremely hard track on the rubber. And you can see some of these bigger cars here are just, with Kasuki, Mark King's right on his hammer there, and that'll just be purely tyre wear. That car is supremely fast down the straight, but, it's all about handling here until you get to the front straight.
We should point out, spinner, around goes Les Walmsley in the HQ. He shut that car down on the opening stanza of yesterday's race because there was a drama, and they've had to repair it from an accident at Adelaide, so it's taken him a while to get it back on the road, and he's had a little bit of a spin. But back to the tyres. They run on a Hoosier tyre in TCM, and this causes a little bit of heartache occasionally for V8 supercar engineers because it's a very different type of tyre, very different type of rubber it leaves on the road, which can really affect the sessions that follow for other categories.
It does, and it does affect, we got V8 supercar qualifying coming up after here. There's Rusty French there. Part owner of FPR.
Yep.
Sitting there not doing what he likes to do, and that's watching the race. That's on the outside, heading into turn 1, so he's obviously had a drama there, shut it down, and just been pushed back behind the fence.
It's on board with Keith Kasuki and the big XB Falcon. We saw Glenn Seaton race this car a couple of years ago in TCM and do a nice job and win the Sunday race up at Bathurst in a great fight with Jason Richards, you might remember. But Keith's driving this car. Dick Savvy prepares at Savvy Motorsport, who run a range of cars in TCM, and they do a really nice job. But he's battling now because the rear tyres, they have checked out. They're on lunch break.
They are. You can just see how much he's struggling getting that power down out of the hairpin. It's all just pure wheel spin there. Coming out of here, he's going to be feathering the throttle, and then all these constant radius corners here, this double F down to the right, and then the little left onto the front straight there. Until he gets onto that straight bit of road, he's going to be struggling.
Just remind you of where we've come from in touring car racing. This is not a strictly historic category. Kasuki's a little bit wide on the exit there, couldn't get the drive, and King's trying to get it down the inside, but that Falcon's got a lot of power that just takes you back to the days of Alan Moffat and John Goss and Colin Bond. Certainly Dean Johnson doing a bit of hard top Falcon racing as well. He's gone in
He's deep.
Really deep.
Can he stop it?
Oh, just. I thought he was gone. I think he thought he was gone too, but it went very quiet there.
It's a very telltale sign when someone's hard on the brakes and they're not downshifting. You know they're in a panic.
He managed to get it around the corner, but he's still got 2.5 laps to hang on here from Mark King in this fight for third spot.
And who's looming in the background is Andy Madecki. He's charging at them. And Jimmy Richards has set the fastest lap of the race. So you can just see the difference there.
This was what it looked like outside the car. Used all the road on the way in. Made it, though.
I call that a pucker moment. You're puckering all the way down to turn one, and then it's a bit of relief when you get round.
Yeah, but the relief's not here because Mark King's right on him. Madecki's closing on in. They're some 10 seconds away from the leader, John Bowe. It's round 3 this weekend. It's the Shannon's Thunder Valley 100. They've applied a few cool event names to their rounds this year, which take you back to some of the glory days of Aussie touring car racing. But out front, Bowe and Richards, the two Hall of Famers who set the bar so high in this category, lead the way. But this is where the scrap's at. Kasuki is going to have to park it up the inside every lap. But that Camaro looks like it's just praying. Remember, it comes from the same team as Andrew Madecki, whose car is good under brakes. This red Camaro is good as well. He's going to round him up. Oh, well, Keith led him. Bit of a bump, but that's okay.
And if McKingy can hang in there, he'll be on the inside for turn 5, but it's getting tight. And he's got the job done, or has he? He has, and Madecki wants in on this action as well. Kasuki certainly didn't hand it to Kingy. He really gave him a run for his money, and he's coming back at the hairpin. From this point on here, I'll be surprised if he can hang on to the back of Mark King. He'll be struggling out of these corners, trying to get the power down, coming to the front straight, and King's going to have to get a 2 or 3 car length gap so he doesn't get passed down the chute.
A little bit of a look back here. This is Tony Karamfolovsky in the Mustang. This is really where the fight is. 3rd, 4th and 5th. King, Kasuki, Madecki in the Camaro. But that's the margin. It's a long way down that front straight to where Richards and Bowe are running. 9 down, 1 to go at Hidden Valley in Darwin. John Bowe's on his way home for a race win and a round win at a track that he's dominated in TCM between he and Jim Richards. They've done a lot of the work. Andrew Madecki going for cool air, or saying hello to one of the marshals down the front straight.
I don't know if he is, because he was doing that when no one was in front of him in the last few laps. So maybe he's found some weird line there that he likes. I don't know.
Not sure. Nevertheless, if they make a slip up here, he'll be right on them in this run home. Just quickly, we talked about you maybe being in TCM. We'll see you at the Enduros with David Wall in the number 17 for. Do we see you at anything else in the next few rounds to get you ready?
Oh, you know, I'm really trying to do as much as I can. Nothing, you know, nothing's better than race miles, and I haven't done a lot of racing, so I'd like to do a couple of races before we get into the endurance races. So we're working on a few things, Noons, and we'll see what we can come up with in the next couple of races. So there's still 3 rounds of our supercars left, so let's see if we can't get into some of the support categories for that.
We'll keep our eyes peeled and see where Stephen Johnson pops up. John Bowe, though, is going to pick up a win in the final race. Pretty calm margin for the Dunlop Super Dealer Mustang. Jimmy Richards home in 2nd spot, and that is the margin back to Mark King, who worked hard for that 3rd place. In the end, he managed to get it. But again, TCM, it's just great to watch the cars, even if some of the races may not be as close as some of the other ones are. Just enjoying the cars, the noise, the sights and sounds. It's good stuff. Here's Adam Bressington. He's slipped further back in the pack. Eddie Abonisa, who started P13 but wasn't really able to push his way up through the order. As they all run across the line, there's Jason Gomersall, Tony Hunter, Chris Stewart. You notice that Mustang's a bit damaged from that accident earlier on in the day where they all slipped off on the oil, but he's a pro master and he's a touring car master. John Bowe, the former Bathurst champ, the 1995 Australian touring car champ for Dick Johnson Racing. But he is still enjoying his racing. He's still peddling cars. Just about every weekend you'll find him in some corner of the country driving something. He just loves this stuff. Here's the way that they finished in race 3, round 3. A nice mix of cars 2 through TCM, but that margin was all about Bow and Richards out in front. Eddie Albanese rounding out the top 10 in the big XP Falcon Coupe. And just outside, Tony Hunter, they continue to develop that Chevy Monza, which is still a new car. Mick Wilson and Gary Treloar in the Chargers. Bruce McLeod, that XA Superbird, they continue to develop. And Cam Mason jumping in for his dad Steve in the Mustang Fastback. Plenty of appreciative fans here at Hidden Valley. They love these cars. They're a regular part of the Sky City Triple Crown.